the sorcerers, they do their magic by tying knots and blowing into those knots. And that is one of the forms and methods of placing magic on someone. The evil eye is something which is real, that a person, and this could be a circumstance, somebody envies you, and as a consequence the evil eye happens from them on you. In a hadith it tells us you should recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your homes. Surah Al-Baqarah, right at the beginning of the Quran, the first one after Fatiha. Recite that because the devils cannot handle it.
وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Tonight then, inshaAllah ta'ala, in this lecture we're going to go through the tafseer of the final two chapters of the Quran, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas, because in the last two surahs of the Quran, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, there are some very important meanings for all of us to understand and recognize, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us on how to protect ourselves from various different things, from magic, from the enviers, from the shayateen, from various different things, how a believer can protect himself from those things. So here then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. So this is of course Surah Al-Falaq, and in this particular chapter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens it up by saying قُل, say. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that in the Quran, then it is of course addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is addressing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Say, meaning say, O Messenger. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, say that I seek refuge with Allah, the Lord of the daybreak. I seek refuge, meaning I seek protection, and I seek refuge in Allah, the Lord of the daybreak. Al-Falaq means the dawn, the daybreak, when the sun rises. Rabbul Falaq, Rabbul Falaq huwa Allah, wal Falaq al-Isbah. The Falaq is the morning time, the daybreak. So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, say that I seek refuge, I seek protection in Allah, the Lord of the daybreak. And it could have a more general meaning than that too. It could mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that breaks open or causes everything to open up. The day opens up, the daybreak, and various other seeds and nuts and things that grow and they open up. All of those affairs, the Lord of them all is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of all of that occurring is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you say, I seek refuge, I seek protection in Allah, the Lord of the daybreak. But what is it that you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you protection from? What is it that you are seeking protection from? And that tells us it is mentioned in the second ayah, min sharri ma khalaq, from the evil of what He has created. From the evil of what He has created. أي من شر جميع المخلوقات ومنه النفس لأن النفس أمارة بالسوء فإذا قلت من شر ما خلق فأول ما يدخل فيه نفسك كما جاء في خطبة الحاجة نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا. The second ayah tells us من شر ما خلق, from the evil of what He created. You are asking Allah to protect you and give you refuge and shelter, protection from the evil of all that He has created. And that includes everything, all of the things in creation in this world that are evil. You are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you and safeguard you from all of those different types of evil that there may be out there, including your own self. That you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the evil of your own self. Your own self that encourages you to do evil, that encourages you to do haram, that encourages you to disobey Allah, that encourages you to follow your desires, your own self. And that's why in the khutbatul hajah, in the Jum'ah khutbah at the beginning, we say, Na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina, that we ask Allah to protect us from the evils of ourselves. From the evil of ourselves. Ourselves, the whispering comes to us to do the haram and to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, when you say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ, I seek refuge and protection in Allah, with Allah, from all of the evil that He created, evil that exists out there, all of the different forms and types of it, and the evils of your own self. You're asking Allah to keep you firm and protected from falling into the whisperings of what your soul desires. And then, this also includes the evil of the shayateen, the devils, and also the humans, the shayateen, the jinn, the animals, the humans, from the evil of all of the different types, the evil of the devils, the evil of the jinn, the evil of animals that may cause you harm, the evil of people who are upon misguidance who may cause you harm. You're seeking refuge, asking Allah to protect you from all types of evil. That's what you're saying in the first two verses of this chapter, the first two ayat of this chapter. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak from all of the evil He has created. And then some more specific examples. وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. and from the evil of the darkening night as it approaches with its darkness, or the moon as it sets and goes away. Meaning you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the darkness when the night comes, because that's when the jinn and the shayateen and the devils, they all come out. And the night time in the darkness. So here you say, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ, that you seek refuge and ask Allah to protect you from that darkness when it comes in the night. والصحيح إنه عام لليل للقمر. So the correct understanding of this is the night, the darkness that approaches when the moon disappears and it's a pitch black night, and in that darkness the evils, they come out. And so you ask Allah to protect you when that night time comes and when that darkness comes. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ, that is the evil of the darkening of the night when it comes. Then there's another thing that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from, and that is in the next ayah. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, and from the evil of those who practice witchcraft, magic, when they blow into the knots. You're asking Allah to protect you from the sorceresses, the witches who do the magic, who do the witchcraft. And we know that magic is real, and the people who do magic, they are disbelievers, because you cannot do magic and be a Muslim. Magic makes you a non-Muslim. Magic is kufr, it is disbelief. So anybody who is engaging in magic and practicing magic and doing magic, then they have disbelieved in Islam and they are no longer Muslims. So here you're asking Allah to protect you from those magicians, from those witches, from those who practice that type of witchcraft and sorcery, and they do magic on people. And when they do magic on someone, maybe that person becomes very ill because of that magic. Maybe that person even dies because of that magic. Maybe other things happen to that person. Maybe he begins to hallucinate and imagine seeing things because of that magic. So magic is real and it happens. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in this ayah to ask Him to protect us from the witches when they blow into their knots. And that is one of the ways that they do magic. The magicians and the witches and the sorceresses. The sorcerers, they do their magic by tying knots and blowing into those knots. And that is one of the forms and methods of placing magic on someone, using these knots and blowing into those knots. And so that's what it says in this ayah, that I seek refuge in Allah. I ask Allah to protect me from those who do witchcraft, their forms of magic, sorcery, when they blow into the knots. So magic is something real, but we know that it is absolutely haram, and that anybody who does magic is a non-Muslim. Then you cannot do magic and be Muslim. It is absolutely, completely haram. And that's why it is mentioned here, you seek protection from Allah in Allah from that magic. You seek protection in Allah, with Allah, to protect you from magic and those who do magic. Even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had magic done to him once. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had magic done to him once. And when he had that magic done to him, he was seeing things that were not real, like hallucinations, as we say, imagining things and they were not real when that magic had been done to him. So this is something which occurs and the magic happens. But a person should not be afraid of magic. A person should not be afraid of the magicians and the sorceresses, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you how to protect yourselves from them, has told you what to say, has told you to ask Allah to protect you from those witches and the sorceresses and the magicians when they blow into the knots and they do their magic. So here we learn that we are asking Allah to protect us from all forms of magic. And a person should not think that any time something happens to them, something bad, maybe they get ill, something else happens, anytime something negative happens, they think it must be magic. Somebody must have done magic to me. That is not the case. A person should not think every single thing that happens, it is all magic happening. Sometimes a person may just have a cold, a normal cold. They become ill with a fever or a cold, and that's it. They'll be better again in a few days. But they start saying, no, it's magic and magic has been done to me. A person should not exaggerate and start thinking everything is magic. Put your trust in Allah and make your du'as. And we know that this is one of the chapters of the Quran you're supposed to recite every night before going to sleep. Before going to sleep, you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from the darkness of the night as it approaches, from the magicians when they blow into their knots and their magic, from all of the evils that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Then there is one more point at the end. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And from the evil of the envier when he envies. So we got a few things here. The first one was asking Allah for protection from the evil of every evil that exists, including the evil of your own selves. Then from the evil of the darkness of the night as it envelops and approaches and everything becomes dark and the shayateen etc. they come out. You seek protection from Allah in that. You seek protection, asking Allah to protect you from that darkness and the evil that exists there. And then also from the evil of the magicians and their magic. And then also وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. From the evil of those who envy, the envier when he envies. So what is envy? Envy is to have a hatred or a desire for your brother to lose the blessings he's been given because you have not been given them. When you see somebody with something good and you don't have that thing, so you wish that other person didn't have it either, just because you haven't got it. That is envy. You are envious of that person, wishing that they lose that good thing that they've got just because you haven't got it. That is envy. Envying someone for what they've been given, for the blessings they've been given. And that is completely incorrect of a Muslim to do that. To wish that his brother or somebody else loses the good things they've been given from Allah just because you haven't got them yourself. Instead, as Shaykh Al-Uthaymeen, he said, if you see somebody with something good, with some blessing they've been given, then do not envy them. Do not wish they lose it because you haven't got it, but instead make dua for them and ask Allah to put more blessing into what they've been given, and simply make dua to Allah for you to get that thing as well. Make dua to Allah that He blesses you with the same thing that He has blessed that other person with. Why are you going to wish they lose it when you can make dua to Allah for you to get it too? That is what a person is supposed to do, as Shaykh Al-Uthaymeen mentioned. Don't envy that person, just make dua to Allah that you get that thing too. Make dua to Allah for that blessing too. And ask Allah to bless that person even more in what he's been given. That is the way that a believer behaves, not with envy. Envying somebody, why have they been given that thing and I haven't got it? Why has that person got whatever he's got and I haven't got it? That's envy, and that is a bad characteristic that is warned against in the Quran and the Sunnah. In fact, the first time envy ever happened was right at the beginning when Allah created Adam. The first person ever that Allah created, Adam, and then his wife Hawa. Those are the first two. And so when Allah created Adam alayhi salam, created him with His own hands, then after creating him, Allah told all of the angels to prostrate to Adam. All of the angels in the heavens to prostrate to Adam as an honor for Adam alayhi salam, the first person that Allah created. So all of the angels, they prostrated. They obeyed the command of Allah and they prostrated to Adam alayhi salam, except Iblis, Shaitan. Originally, you know, Shaitan was in the heavens. He was in the heavens with the angels, even though the Shaitan, Iblis, is not an angel. He is from the jinn, but he was a noble one, and he was with the angels in the heavens. And so when Allah commanded them all to prostrate, it included Iblis. He was commanded to prostrate too. But he did not. All of the others did. The angels did. Why did Iblis not prostrate? As Allah told us in the Quran, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. When we told the angels to prostrate, and they all prostrated to Adam, except Iblis. He refused, and he was haughty and arrogant. Iblis refused to prostrate, disobeyed Allah, and therefore became a disbeliever because of envy. He envied Adam alayhi salam. He said, it says in the Quran, in another part of the Quran, خَلَقَتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقَتَهُ مِن طِينٍ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِنْهُ. At the beginning, I am better than him. Iblis says to Allah, I am better than him, than Adam. You created me from fire. Iblis, the jinn, they are created from a fire. And you created him, Adam, the person, the human, from clay, from the ground, from earth. I am better than him. I am from fire. He is from the earth, from clay. So Iblis envied Adam alayhi salam, even though that example is even incorrect. Fire is not better than the earth. If you get some soil and put it on top of a fire, the fire goes out. The soil is stronger. And even if you put the fire on top of the soil, it burns it all. But then afterwards, another year later, there will be grass coming back again. The ground does not die. So this is not a correct example anyway for Iblis to have said, I am better than him because you made me from fire and you made him from earth, from clay. And that is mentioned by Shaykh Abdul Rahman As-Sa'idi rahimahullah ta'ala in his tafsir. So Iblis envied Adam alayhi salam. From envy, he refused to prostrate. He thought, why is Adam getting all of this honor? Why is Adam getting all of this honor that we all have to prostrate to him and I'm better than him? Why do we have to prostrate to him? So he refused out of envy as to why Adam is getting all of that honor and I have not. Then after that, Adam alayhi salam, from his children, Habil and Qabil, his two sons, Habil and Qabil. And it is known that one of the two sons of Adam alayhi salam, one of the two sons did what to the other one? Killed him. One of the two sons killed the other one. And what was the reason why one of them killed the other one? Envy. Because the other one, his act of worship was accepted. And so the first one envied him. And so he killed him. He killed him. And when he killed him, he didn't know what to do with the body. This was the first murder that ever happened in mankind. So then the bird came and showed him how to bury the body. That was envy. One of the sons of Adam killed the other. And then afterwards, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Jews, they refused to accept Islam even though they knew the truth. They refused to accept out of envy because they had wanted the final prophet to be from their lineage. But instead the final prophet Muhammad ﷺ came from the lineage of the Arabs. So they envied him and they did not accept the truth. So envy led to the disbelief, kufr, when it came to Iblis. And envy led to murder between the two sons of Adam alayhi salam. And envy led to rejecting the truth. That is all envy. Envying another person. Why has he got something you haven't got? Why has he got this status? Why has he got this honor? Why has he got this? Why has he got that? And you haven't got it? So you envy that person. So here Allah tells us to ask Him to protect us from the people who envy you. From the people who envy you and they see something Allah has blessed you with and they haven't got it. They have that envy against you. And when they have that envy against you, it can cause the evil eye. It could cause the evil eye from that person. The evil eye is something which is real. That a person, and this could be a circumstance, somebody envies you, and as a consequence, the evil eye happens from them on you. And we do not know what the evil eye is exactly, but we know that the meaning of it is if the evil eye happens to you, then something bad occurs to you because of that other person. The evil eye comes from them upon you, and some evil may occur to you. And that could be because they are envying you over something. They have some jealousy over something. Or it could be that they see some blessing on you, and so they have a problem with that, and so the evil eye may occur. So you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from all of those things, including the enviers, those who envy other people. And like we said, the cure to that is, if you see somebody with a blessing you haven't got, then make dua that Allah gives you the blessing too. And that's why it says in a hadith, do not look at people who are higher up than you, they are richer than you. Look at people who are lower than you. Because if you keep looking at people who are higher up than you, they've got more than you, then you're always going to be thinking, I've not been given anything. But when you look at people who are below you, have less than you, then you always realize how much you have been given and how many blessings you have compared to some people who have hardly anything compared to what you have. So you always look at those below you to recognize your own blessings and not to those who are above you. Because if you do that, then you may belittle the blessings you've been given and not recognize how much you've been given when you keep looking at others who've been given even more. So look at those below you to remember your blessings. So that is قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. This chapter of the Quran, you can see you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from a variety of things, from the evils that have been created, even the evils of your own self, from the darkness of the night, from the magicians and their blowing into the knots, and from the envy of those who are envious. You ask Allah to protect you from all of those things. That is what you are saying when you read that every night. That is the point of reading that every night before going to sleep. Then the second one, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Say that I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind. Malikin Nas, the King of mankind. Ilahin Nas, the Lord, the God of mankind. Min sharril waswasil khannas, from the evil of the whisperer who withdraws. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس, the one who whispers into the chests of mankind. من الجنة والناس, from the jinn and the humans. This chapter also you will see now you're asking Allah to protect you. You're asking Allah for protection. And this chapter it starts by saying قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, that say I seek refuge and protection in the Lord of all of mankind. So you are recognizing that you're asking Allah, the Lord of all of mankind, the Lord of everything that exists, the one who has control over everything. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, I seek refuge in the Lord of all of mankind. Malikin Nas, who is the King of all of mankind. Ilahin Nas, who is the God of all of mankind, the one who is to be worshipped by all of mankind. That is who you are asking for protection from or in. You are asking Allah to give you that protection, the one who has control over everything, has control over the whole world and everything that exists within it. So what are you asking for protection from this time in this chapter? Min sharril waswasil khannas, from the evil of the whisperer, meaning the devil who whispers into the hearts of people, who then withdraws. He comes and whispers, then he goes. That devil who whispers into people, ما يلقي في القلب من الأفكار والأوهام والتخيلات التي لا حقيقة لها. So the devil comes and whispers things to you. So you start thinking about things, imagining things, thinking of different scenarios about things, and none of those are in reality true. You start imagining things, imagining this situation, that situation, imagining all types of things, and they do not exist. It is only the whispering of that shaitan, whispering to you, what about this and what about that, and whispering all types of things to you, to create that worry in you, and to create that grief in you, to create that concern in you. That is from the whisperings of the shaitan into a person, to bring about all types of thoughts in that person that have no reality to them. That's what it says. من شر الوسواس الخناس, that I ask Allah to protect me from the whisperings of that devil who comes and whispers and then disappears. Whispers all these thoughts into you that have no reality to them to cause you worry and concern and then disappears. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس, the one who whispers into the hearts of mankind. So these devils, the devil whispers into you all types of things, but then they flee. Especially when do they flee? When you do the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person is reciting the Quran, doing the remembrance of Allah, the devils they flee. A person is doing dua, the different types of dua that you can do in the morning, in the evening, after the prayers, the shaitan flees. When the adhan is done, the shaitan flees away, runs away, cannot handle the adhan, runs away from that. When the iqamah is done, he runs away from that. The devils, they run away when the remembrance of Allah is made. When the remembrance of Allah is done, they flee and they run from that. In a hadith, it tells us you should recite Surah Al-Baqarah in your homes. Surah Al-Baqarah, right at the beginning of the Quran, the first one after Fatiha. Recite that because the devils cannot handle it. When they hear that, they run out of that house and they flee from there. They run away from there. So the devils, they cannot handle when a believer does the remembrance of Allah and recites the Quran and does his du'as and recites the du'as you're supposed to recite before going to sleep, like Ayatul Kursi. It tells you if you recite Ayatul Kursi at night, then no shaitan will come near you all night. The angels will protect you all night until morning. So a person who is busying himself with remembrance of Allah, then that is a means to keep the shayateen away. That is a means to keep the devils and their whispering away. And that's why the Quran especially is of great importance. And a person should be reciting the Quran every single day to keep that remembrance, to keep the devils away and to keep the thoughts away and the whisperings away. That a person reads the Quran and read the meanings too, to understand what you are reciting if you do not know Arabic, to understand the meanings of what Allah is saying, because the Quran is the speech of Allah. Allah spoke the Quran, all of that, and it was heard by Jibreel, and then he came and taught the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So a lot of remembrance, a lot of Quran on a daily basis, your du'as in the morning, in the evening, they are what keep you protected from the shayateen and the devils. And this is one of them, to recite Surah An-Nas before going to sleep as well. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. So this is the shaitan who whispers into the hearts of people, مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ, from the jinn and the humans. There are devils from the jinn and there are devils from the humans. The devils of the humans, meaning the evil humans who say the evil things, and the devils of the shayateen and the jinn who whisper to people also. So these two chapters are known as the mu'awwidat, from amongst the mu'awwidat, from the chapters that you recite for protection. And that's why you recite them every evening, every night before going to sleep. So you should know the meanings of these two chapters and why you're reciting them. So now you know what they are about. You're asking Allah for protection from lots of different evils, different types of evils, to keep you protected overnight and during the day. Again, you make your du'as and you recite the Quran. And that's why a person has no reason to be afraid. To be afraid of the jinn or the devils, you recite these chapters and you recite the Quran and you make your dua, and you are protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evils of the jinn and the shayateen, the shaitan, the jinn, the devils, the evils. You're protected from all of those affairs then. So that is what the second chapter here says. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس, that say, I seek refuge in the Lord of all of mankind, the King of all of mankind, the one who all of mankind worships, from the evil of the devil who comes and whispers and then flees and then runs away when the remembrance and the adhan etc. are done. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس, the one who comes and whispers into the chests of mankind, من الجنة والناس, whether they are from the jinn, those ones who come and whisper, or from the humans, they whisper evil things to you. So those whisperings they occur. It mentions when you pray. When you pray, a shaitan whispers to you. Shaitan comes and begins whispering to you when you're praying, so that you start thinking about other things instead of the prayer that you're praying right now. And your mind starts thinking about other things instead. That is mentioned in a narration, that when the adhan is done and the iqamah is done, then you start praying, the shaitan, he comes and he starts whispering to a person different thoughts. And so you start thinking about different things. And instead of thinking about the prayer and thinking about the words that you are saying in the prayer, instead your mind is thinking about something else. And when that happens, it is mentioned that you may end up finishing the whole prayer but barely getting any reward for it, because your mind was disappeared and it wasn't even focused on the prayer at all. And so the shaitan whispers to people in different ways in the prayer, in other times, bringing all types of thoughts to you. So a person must remember to do these du'as. And there is a famous book, the Hisnul Muslim, the Fortress of the Muslim, has all of the different types of du'as that you're supposed to recite in the morning, in the afternoon, the evening, the night time, after the prayers. Tells you all of the different du'as when you walk into your house, when you leave your house, different times when you make wudu at the end of wudu what to say. All of the different supplications a Muslim should know and understand. So if a Muslim does this, recites these chapters, knowing their meanings, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in your aid and in your protection, protecting you from the evils of the shayateen and the jinn, protecting you from the evils of their whisperings. And so it is important for a Muslim to make sure that he does remember to recite these chapters, especially when it is sunnah to do so in the evening time, or in the night time before going to sleep, and to be reciting the Quran generally on the whole. That is a brief look at those two particular chapters, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas. And you now see that they are chapters known as Mu'awwidhat, chapters where you are asking Allah for protection. And that's the point. When you recite them before going to bed, you're supposed to know the meanings of them. When you recite your du'as, you're supposed to know the meanings of them. That is how they really have an impact. If you don't even know what you're saying, then it's not really the same effect. You're supposed to know the meanings of what you're reciting, the du'as that you're reciting, the surahs that you're reciting before sleep and after the prayers in the morning, in the evening. When you know their meanings, that's when they have the real impact and they really benefit a person. So that is a brief look at these two particular chapters. All right, we'll end there for today then, inshallah ta'ala, until we do one again next time. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.